Hey, welcome in YouTube. In the last video, we talked about setting up a window and just displaying basic hello world text. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can use widgets inside of you instead of just using these strings. So to get started, what we want to do is remove the old string and instead put the name of our widget inside of parentheses, and you can go ahead and just type widget, and you might notice it will crash. And that is because you need to have these arguments. So I'm just gonna use my formatting style, which I like to do it like this. It makes it a lot easier to read, I think. And then you can do arg1 and then just do this is a widget. And now when we go ahead and reload, it pops up. This is a widget. And you may have noticed I didn't include arg2, and that's because you can have a question mark which indicates your argument is unnecessary. So you can leave it in or leave it out. In my case, I will include it just to show you how to use arguments. So I'm going to put this is a tooltip. And then down here, you might notice where is the arg2? It's not used anywhere. Well, that's because I haven't included it yet. And you can add the tooltip right here, arg2. So now when we run the app again, when we hover over, it's going to say this is a tooltip. So by the way, all these settings are unnecessary. So if I go ahead and just comment them out, the app would still run. And the style disappeared because I commented out the class of the example right here. So I'm going to undo that and then briefly talk about the CSS. For the tooltip, in this example, it's just simply a tooltip name, and then I change the background color to black because if I don't have that, the onset property makes everything reset and it will have no style whatsoever. But I do like background color to make it a little bit easier to read. And you may have noticed also I have zeros for widths everywhere, and that's because I like to control everything with CSS. And as you can see here, I have my own padding, margin, everything, and it all works inside of this box, which there are specific settings for each widget. Like in this case, the box specifics are up here, and these general things apply to any widget that you can find on the EU documentation. That being said, how do you add another widget? You actually can't just do it below here. So for example, if I do another box 2, this will crash the app. As you can see, there's no update, and that's because you're only allowed to have one widget in each def widget. So what you need to do is actually put a box inside of another box. So if I copy all this code for the box, it can just go ahead and just type it inside of the box. So now we have a nested box, as you can see. And the padding and stuff is a little off because of the nested things. I have the margin right to 0. So normally I would make the margin equal, but since my window manager has a margin on the outer border, I need to change that to 0. So you can change these things on your own, and you can nest a box as many times as you want. So let me do another nest. And this is getting quite messy pretty fast. As you can see, now we have 3 nested, and that is how you can include multiple boxes. And you don't necessarily need to nest them after the first one. You only need to have one parent. So let's reset. So in this case, this is the parent box. We can instead just paste 2 of them. And now this outer box, this parent box, will now contain 2 children. And that being said, that's about all you need to know to get started with designing your own widgets. You can experiment with the different types. There's box, there's labels, there's checkboxes, there's a bunch of things. Make sure you guys check them all out and then test all of the settings. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys later. And by the way, this code will be provided in the link in the description below if you need to have it. And that's all. Goodbye.